boring about this artwork. Ugh. Well, it's not done. Hey artists and art lovers, it's Allison and I'm here for another episode of Refusing to Fade. I think this is the 10th one, so I knew that this would be a time-consuming piece. I think 10 is the most episodes I've done for these drawings, but it's worth it, right? Like, it looks great. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I still feel that way. So I'm doing another stipple video. I have the rest of the arm, so that's not too much, but it's still a lot to do. And so while I'm stippling away, oh wait, I haven't told you today's good news. Okay, so today's good news is that there are new developments, I'm looking at my phone, I'm cheating, in clean energy and carbon capture, and they are making real progress in the climate crisis. It's incredible. So I don't really know what carbon capture is, but I'm going to read this, and then I'll put a link in the description so you guys can also read it. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, I found this website that has like all these different questions to ask when you're trying to start a discussion about art, and I have never heard any of these questions asked. I thought it was interesting, so I figured I would just ask myself these questions and answer them about this work while I work. So the first question is, what's going on in this artwork? Well, stipples for sure, but what's going on? I mean, obviously I can say a lot more about it because I'm the artist, but if I had to just briefly answer that question, what's going on is a lot of pulling, there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of horizontal movement being broken by a hand, there's eye contact. It's very busy. Like, there's a lot going on really, and it's all, the focal point I'd say is the hand and the face. So what's going on is this person is making eye contact with the viewer while stopping this pulling horizontal movement. I think that's a good answer. The second question is, what is your first reaction to this artwork? What do you think? Why do you think you had the reaction? So I'll leave that one for you guys to answer because it's my artwork. So I'll skip that one. That one doesn't count. Does your opinion about the artwork change the longer you look at it? Why? So this one I do want to answer because I've told you guys, like, when I'm looking at stuff for a while, it's almost like when you look at a picture of yourself for a while, the more I look at it, the more problems I find with it. So a big reason I've decided to slow down was because the more I was looking at it, the more I was disliking it and feeling like it wasn't accomplishing what I wanted it to. So I guess the more I look at it, the less satisfied I was with it. But it's not finished yet, so it's also not fair. Like, I'm still in the process of correcting problems as I find them. But what I can say right now is that the more I look at the pattern on the shirt, the less I like it. And the more I look at sort of the shape of the whole, the more I look at kind of the silhouette that it creates, the less I like it. So there are probably more changes to come. Like, I kind of want more flowiness near the bottom. Maybe I will bring the circle up higher so that there's not so much of a straight line at the torso. So there we go. Next question. Describe the lines in this artwork. Whew, well, I've done that already, but I think it's a fun question, so I'll do it again. The lines, they're all over the place. Obviously, there's the horizontal lines cutting across the image and stipples, like pulling away from the subject. And like I've talked about, those signify like what it feels like when you're being stereotyped and how it feels like when your personhood is being taken away from you, when your sense of self is being pulled away. The lines in the hair, love the lines in the hair. They are spirals, they're twisties, I love them. They're each hand drawn. Like every line is drawn by me, and I feel like such a sense of like, I don't know, I'm really proud of them, especially just the way that they're coming together. I feel so good about it. And I'm really glad again that I went in heavier on the hair to make it darker, because it looks so much better than it did before when it was just light. The lines in the eyes, the lines of the eyebrows, the way that some of the lines meet with the stipple so that they're not as harsh as they used to be. Feel good about the lines. The next one is describe the colors in this artwork. Black and white. Next. Which area of the artwork is emphasized by the artist and why? This is a fun question. I feel like I made an effort to emphasize the index finger breaking the pattern of the stipple lines where they're breaking across, and the pattern and that like pull is being broken. I also emphasized the eyes because I wanted there to be that contact between the viewer and the subject. I'm really curious about if you guys feel that those, like, is that where your eyes also go straight to when you look at this, or is it somewhere totally different? And that might change. That's definitely, well, it might change when it's done, but for now those are the 2 points that my eyes are drawn to. That's where I tried to emphasize. Well, the next question is relevant to the one that I just asked. How does your eye move through the artwork? What choices did the artist make to make that happen? I feel like that's pretty much the same question, but I want to hear what you guys think of that. For me, it's like I said, I go to the eyes, the hair, and then I go to the hand breaking that pattern. And then hopefully once I figure out what I'm going to do with the shirt, that will also be an interesting place, but I don't want it to draw away from those focal points. But I feel like, you know, my eyes move through it in an up and down pattern, and then kind of circular as I take in the full image. What do you guys think? Ooh, what elements seem dreamlike or imaginary? I really like that because I try to make all my work kind of dreamlike. So for me, I think the clear answer is like those lines being pulled away because they're not supposed to be real. Like there's no, that's supposed to be a very, like, it's a feeling and it's not like a physical thing. So yes, it's a pretty easy answer, but yes, that's the answer. What is boring about this artwork? Ugh. Well, it's not done, but if I had to say what's boring about it, I think the shirt, because I'm just not feeling it. And maybe the hand, because it's just a pretty mundane, it's a hand. Yeah, but the shirt's not done yet, so maybe that's not fair. But it's also just a shirt. But that's what I think is boring. I'm biased, so I made this. I think all of it's super exciting. Okay, so this is the last question that I'll ask. I think it's really cool. It says, it's like a good closing question. It says, if this artwork were music, what would it sound like? Now, of course, I want to hear your answers to this question. But for me, even as an unfinished piece, when I look at it, I instantly think of like Mozart. I think of classical music in general. I don't want to just limit it to one specific symphony, but I think of like orchestras coming together and like the music being kind of like slow and like somber when you're realizing what the subject matter is, and that like these lines represent moments of like a loss of a sense of self and feeling like you're out of control of who you are, and like all these external forces are pulling at you and taking away like your sense of self. And then I feel like a building of like different instruments coming together in like a more like exciting way, because you're seeing that she's like breaking that pattern and she's looking right at you and she's like reclaiming who she is, and then it builds into like happiness and like powerful, like lots of instruments, and then you're like dancing all around, like looking at all the different stipples and the patterns in the hair and like moving across the whole thing, and then like a nice ending chord when you've like moved through the image and you're like satisfied with what you've taken from it, and you're like done. Like I wish I could think of like a specific one and name it, but I think of classical, like Mozart or Beethoven or something like that. That's what I think, for sure. Alright guys, so I'm finally done stippling the arm. So excited. So the next thing that I'm going to start working on is the shirt, so look forward to that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this stipple art questions video, and I will talk to you guys later.